Now, for this assignment, you're going to be creating a record album cover, and feel free to do a real album that you're excited about. In my case, I'm going to be doing a fake album, and make sure you check this semester's assignment details, because I will say whether or not you can use make up an album and a band, or if you have to use a real one. All those details will be in the semester's instructions. So for this demonstration, though, I'm just going to make one up so that we can have a good starting point and create something of interest. Now, the sizes that we're going to use, if I can create a new document here, will be 12.5 inches by 12.5 inches and 150 resolution at the end. If you prefer, you can work at a higher resolution. That said, I'm going to work at a lower resolution because it's rare to have free images that are so massive that I could have like 600 resolution at 12 inches by 12 inches. That's at 600 pixels per inch. It's going to be colossal. It's 6,000 inches across. And I might want to use a very large image. Now, part of this assignment is that text has to be a prominent feature, so we're not going to worry too much about the size. I'm just going to label this appropriately. 14, last name, first name, and this will be 01. Since this is my first iteration, I'm going to start with a black background. I've been enjoying that. I'm going to save this document, and just Control S, and I'm just going to pop it over where I can find it easily. Here we go. So you could, in my case, I'm just going to make up a band and a cover and all that good stuff. So I'm going to lean on strong graphic design elements. So let's do this. I'm going to put some white, and let's grab some text. And deselect if I'm allowing for you to make up a band. Most of us have a band that we've thought of at some point or another that we thought would be pretty cool band name. Now's the chance. So in my case, I'll grab my text tool. I'm just going to put Thunder Blue and stretch this out how I want it. Now I'd like it centered, so I'm going to control click on the locked background and the words Thunder Blue, take my alignment tool, and then notice that it's giving me some issues. Well, I have messed up how I've selected things, so let me do a couple more things. I'm actually going to grab everything and then align straight center. There we go. Now that I've done this, I'm going to do something a little different. Going to control click on the text here, turn it off, come over to layer 1, and I'm going to call this header, and apply a layer mask to it. Oops, wrong way though. Hold down the Alt key and apply a layer mask to it. And so what did that accomplish? Well, now if I come down here and create a new solid color, I can set it to anything I want, and I will see that color through both locations. So I'm going to bring this down to a thunder blue color. All right. Now that I've got the thunder blue, I might want some more text elements on this, or sorry, some more elements altogether. What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take the polygon lasso tool, alt click on the mask, and then cut this in half, just like that. Okay, so I've got this thunder blue. Now I would like to have an image in here. Honestly, there are many free images that would look pretty solid in this. Let's poke around and see if anything might be good. And in my case, I'm actually going to use this Earth photo. I'm just going to drag it over and drop it in. Here we go. Put that below. So we've got the Earth photo that's already looking pretty cool. Going to put it so it's not dead center. Now, what do I want to do here so that it's flipped around? Well, let's play around with this a little bit. I'm going to set it to multiply mode. And I'll see that immediately I get earth as this blue thing and then black over here. I'm going to invert it, which is non-destructive. And that starts to create an interesting effect, but I've lost a lot of what I would have liked on earth. So what I'm going to do now is come in and do an adjustment layer on that. I'm going to do levels, and I'm going to clip it down. There we go. And immediately see that curves is the better option with this. So I'm going to throw this away. And I accidentally grabbed the layer mask. I need to get rid of the levels. Come into curves. Here we have it. Use an on-screen adjustment. And I want to be careful here because I absolutely want to leave some of it alone. What's happening? I forgot to clip it. Alt-click between the layers. Same thing as the make clipping mask there. Now I can do all the adjustments I want without worrying about anything. Let's do a little S curve. So that's somewhat interesting. But let's do a little bit more. Come back in here. Do a couple more layer masks. Although I don't want both of these set like that, I'm going to do a select, modify, or sorry, select, transform selection. Do a slight rotation. Actually, I'm going to do it the other way to offset the bar that I've already done. Okay. Starting to get some Thunder Blue album. Might be good to have some more white in here. Might be really fun to do something like this. So I'm just using some graphic design elements. Okay. All right, that's looking pretty good. What would be probably better at this point would be to actually get this line out and recreate this on the text itself, just for the heck of it. Because right now this is rasterized. What if I wanted to increase the size? So I'm going to come back, and I do like that cut. Just going to do this. Turn that off for a moment. Come over to here. I'm going to flip the color around. Just in the properties, change it to white. Now I'm going to apply a mask for just a moment. Oops, wrong way though. Alt click. Now notice this doesn't line up the same way, so I'm going to unlink the mask. I'm going to go to our text, and I'm going to increase the height of this text. And actually, what would be a faster way to do that? Control T. I'm on the wrong sector. On the text itself, Control T. Make sure you're not constraining it. There we go. So now this is on the text itself. This will be more useful. So now I can do adjustments. I'm going to relink these together. I can do adjustments to this if I so desire, and it will continue to look nice and exist well. So now that I have this actually backed up, I'm going to do this. I'm going to swap it out by filling this. Whoops. Filling this. Now, coming over here. And it's white on white, so I can't see anything. Control click, Alt. Oops, my bad. Do that again. Control click to get the font, and then Control Alt click to Control Alt Shift click, Control Alt Shift click to subtract it. Now I will apply that mask. Oops. Alt delete to fill it. All right, so what was the point to all of that? I can do adjustments to the text now in case I decide to change things out. So I'm going to apply the layer mask, and so I don't have to worry too much about that. So what if I want this to be a different color? Well, I can always do a color overlay and a mask. That might be good. I could also, save, I could also grab some stars and put that over there. I think that might be interesting. Let's pop on over to some stars. Again, I'm just going to move this over, drop it in. So I've got the starscape, and I'm going to alt click so that it's a layer mask, and I can see immediately it's not dark enough. It's nowhere near dark enough. So what am I going to do? Well, in this case, rather than curves, I'm going to do levels as an adjustment layer, and I'm going to make sure that it's also clipping mask. Ooh, I could go two ways. I could make it very bright, or I could instead make it very dark. And I think I'll make it very dark. So on that note, what would this look like red? I'm going to reapproach my color fill. So that's interesting, but let's do this. Let's duplicate this, make it red, and then set a gradient mask on it. And do that in the mask. So gradient fill. Start getting some interesting colors. So is this legible? That's the question I have to constantly ask. I would say that this would be better if the Thunder Blue was lighter up here. So what can we do about that? Well, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to come in with yet another color fill, this time just below the header. And this should say Earth. Don't forget to name your text. Name your text, name your layers. There we go. Okay, that one's appropriate. If we turn on Thunder Blue, we can have it just as white. Now, what was that trick that I showed you way back when? If you double click and bring up your layer style, I could do a white outline. And then on the fill opacity, I could drop that to 0. It's a little hard to read, so I've got to be careful about that. I do want to maintain legibility. I think that it would look good if maybe there was an astronaut in the bottom right corner. Although it occurs to me, I have Thunder Blue. Is that the name of the band, or is that the name of the record? Well, it depends on how you want to do these things. As you look at records or album covers, you'll see that sometimes it's a little hard to say. It's a little hard to tell. All right. Now then, let's see if we've got an astronaut. Or better than an astronaut, what about a ship? So let's see if I can capture this relatively easily, shall we? I'm going to just dive in and record as I go to see if anything comes forward. I don't think I need my character panels right now. I'm going to Control L and just set the yellow to be very light for just a moment. Should be good. Tell it OK. I'm going to set this to black and white now. Now notice this is a duplicate I'm working on. Black and white. Why am I doing this? I just need a nice crisp cut so I don't have to worry too much about things. And now why is that? Let me show you. So I'm going to merge this down. Merge this down. There we go. Control E to merge down. I'm just going to come in with the quick selection tool and just roll on along. Now you guys are going to want to take your time on this kind of stuff and do a really nice mask. But I know you don't want to watch me just sit here with the mask. You know what? There's even an easier way. I know you guys don't want to watch me sit here and watch me do a mask. I've got, what, like 4 hours of me doing masks at the beginning of the semester. You can go back and watch me do all those masks if you'd like. I'm going to do a select color range and grab there we go, grab the black and white with the plus. Oops, too much. Okay, tell it okay. So that's a good start. So I'm going to mask, turn that off so that I can see what I've got. I'm going to come in with a polygon lasso. Just quickly grab a chunk here, fill it with black on the mask. So I've got more of it. I'm going to polygon lasso again. Just kind of grab the rest of it here. Grab a big brush. Oops, I want to keep the seagull. Leave that in. All right. So now you can see that I've got this passable mask. Now I'd want to do more work. I'd want to get all of these fine lines. But I just want to show you guys a quick idea. So now I will mask this one. So I've got the chunk here. I'm going to duplicate this by right-clicking on the label, go to duplicate layer, and send it over to assignment 14. We've got Thunder Blue, and we've got the Earth, and we've got this ship. So what do we want to do with the ship? We want to blend it in. Now, which way do we want it to face? Remember, flipping horizontally or vertically is a non-destructive edit. You know what? I like it on the left. Now, what would be a destructive edit would be rotating. So I'm going to right-click and convert this to a smart object before I rotate. That way I don't destroy my work. Okay, but this clearly doesn't blend in. I'd like it more like the rest of it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go into it, and because it's a smart object, I'm going to do a black and white adjustment on it. Good. Save. Close that. Now that it's in black and white, I'm going to set it to multiply. I feel like there should be something over here. Let's take a look. I think a lighthouse might be good. So let's see if we can find one real fast. And indeed, I've got one. I think this one might work nicely. But again, I don't need this much of it. I need considerably less of it. So I'm going to come in with my my quick selection tool. And I have greatly overshot it. In fact, let's do this instead. I'm going to do the magnetic lasso tool. Oh, you know what? This is actually begging for a pen tool, but we'll leave it at the magnetic lasso tool phase. Oh, this would be so good with a pen tool, but I doubt you all want to watch me do a pen tool for the next 15 minutes. So we'll just do this. All right. And come in now with the quick select. Oops. My tolerance is far too high on this. Let me shrink this down. There we go. There we go. Since I'm going to be converting this to black and white, don't have to be too picky. Oops. I still have to be a little careful. I would actually like the rocks. So I think this is a good start. Unlock the background. Apply a layer mask. I did it backwards. And just want the rocks. Whoops. Let's get rid of all that sky. Oh no. I held down the wrong key command there. All right. And I'll just use a brush since apparently I'm hitting the wrong keys there. Deselect, come back. Wow, it really wants to go in there. I'm just going to grab the polygon tool real quick. Just desperately does not want to separate this sky. All right. You know what though, after all of that hard work, I want more of a classic lighthouse shape, so I'm just going to cut this chunk off. Getting better. I missed a chunk here. Okay. Now, all of that said, oops, I think I'm going to cut off some more once I move it over, but I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it. Again, right-clicking in the text area, the label area, going to duplicate layer, sending it over to my main piece. Oh, this could work. All right. And I'm going to convert this to a smart object real quick. And double click on the thumbnail to edit it. I'm going to actually put this in a group real fast and add on a new layer mask on that group because I like where the mask is. I want to preserve that, but I want to see how this will look just real quick down to the rocks because I imagine it will actually look better. And again, you'll all want to take your time on this. I'm just going to go through because we've already been at this for about 20 minutes and I think you're getting the idea. You may be itching to do it. So, okay. Save that, close it up. I'm going to do Control T to transform. Since it's a layer mask, I don't have to worry about it. And same process, go back in. I'm going to, above all of this, create a black and white adjustment. And I would like this darker, to be honest. So I'm going to use the on-screen adjustment. Something like that. Save that. So we've got that here. One more time, set it to multiply. You can see that I need to do some additional adjustments to blend this together nicely. I'm just going to put a mask for now and use a nice fuzzy brush. Lower hardness, please. I feel as though it's incredibly hard for some reason. I'm guessing that I've got a weird blend mode on my brush. No, it says it's fine. Hardness 0. Oh, I don't have a brush. I'm sorry, I have a pencil tool. That would do it, wouldn't it? All right, let's try this again. And hardness 0. Wow. There we go. More like that. Okay. And maybe do a levels adjustment on this. And alt click between them. Same thing as going here, just to do the clipping mask. So I can get this really where I want it. Zoom out a little bit. I think that the white outline actually isn't looking very good now, but I need something, so I'm going to go into the stroke and just change the color. Instead of white, let's look at maybe red. I can dig that. That I think is much better. How would that look on the rest of this header? I'm going to hold down Alt key and drag my effect. Now here is a place that might do better with white, actually. Or deep gray. Actually, you know what it would do well with is a blend mode set to multiply. And then we can increase the size. And you can see how that creates this blur effect because it's on multiply. It's not really a blur effect, but from a distance, it does in fact look like a blur. All right. So this is a good start. It would need a lot of additional adjustments and fine tuning, but text is a prominent element. It's the correct size. It's the correct resolution. I think I'm going to come into this stroke and also set this to multiply. Nope. I'm not going to do that. Let's try screen. Nope. Let's just set it to normal. Let's lower the opacity. Yes. Okay, so what are the last steps for this? Well, I need to make this a PNG. So I'm going to Control-Alt-Shift-E from the top layer in order to make a flattened copy. And then I'm just going to duplicate this layer out so that it's a new layer altogether. Name it correctly. Okay, I'm going to call this my second one just so I don't mix it up. And not a PSD, a PNG. Ping. I think I named it wrong, so I'll need to go in. Let's do that again. Control, I'm going to, oh, it's saving. Let me give it a moment. Okay, so we need this to be in CMYK. So we're going to come over to the convert to profile. And I'm going to select, yeah, we'll use the coded. I think perceptual probably, well, let's check absolute. No, I think perceptual is probably going to be the best one for this, but we've lost all those vibrant colors. What are we going to do? Well, we're in CMYK mode now, so now it's an appropriate time to go in with curves. And actually do an adjustment within the color area. Let me grab it on the, well, first we're going to make the black blacker. All right, and then we're going to go into cyan. There we go. And going to adjust the yellows. There we go. Okay, I'm going to do one more adjustment here. I'm going to bring up my color balance. There we go. Watch out for those greens. I actually need more magenta and less green. There we go. I like that. So what am I going to do here? Well, first I'm going to save it as a as a PSD. Yikes, just so I have a copy to work with. So I've got my PSD. I think those are some pretty good compromises. Yeah, I think that was looking pretty good. So it definitely needs a lot more work, some more blending here and there. The composition's a good start. What's a great way to perfect the composition? Well, before you get started, do a bunch of thumbnails. That's what you guys have been up to, right? So from here, I'm going to actually make this one the PNG. So I'm going to one more time isolate it. There's really no need for this. I just want to be careful with what I'm working on. So I'm going to duplicate this over to a new document. This is paranoia at its finest, people. There's absolutely no reason for me to go this far to duplicate a new thing out, except if I were to accidentally override something, I would be very, very sad. All right. And save as, file save as, a PNG, wherever it may be. Oh, right. What step did we forget? And it's in the instructions. After converting to CMYK, cancel. In order to save it as the PNG, we need to set it to RGB mode. Mode, RGB. Okay. Now notice this is CMYK compatible. We can flip back and it'll be fine because we did all those adjustments. So now we're going to go File, Save As, and now we can save it as the PNG. All right, and save. And I want the largest file. Well, let's do the medium file saves. All right, and we'll let it roll for just a moment. Oh, that was pretty quick. And we'll take a look at what that file size looks like. Let's go to our document area. And that got it down to just a few megabytes. Now, remember, because we were in CMYK, which is the smaller color space than the RGB, we are in the clear on this, even though we're going to upload it. And here we have an album cover. There you have it. That's about it for the assignment. Very, very similar to your postcard assignment way at the beginning of the semester. I think it's a good time to reevaluate it, revisit it, and build something new using a few new techniques that you all have. All right. Have a fun time. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. And I will see you next class.